So plagiarist and DMCA abuser are some of the most stinging accusations that can be made on a YouTuber. Well, probably after the Tumblr accusation of rape. So is the Crazy Russian Hacker a plagiarist and a DMCA abuser of his fellow YouTubers? I mean, those are some tough accusations for someone with almost 7 million subscribers.
We're going to put ice inside here, and then we put the lid on with the fan. It sucks air in, blows it through the insulated interior with ice, and it comes shooting out the other side.
Today I'm going to show you how to make an air conditioner with a little bucket like that.
Turn it on. And just like that.
You see the smoke comes out over there?
Indeed, it's hard to know which would make him more of a jerk. Well, I don't know, maybe if he was advocating something that could get people killed as well. So the so-called Crazy Russian Hacker has come up with this pretty much suicidal idea for an air conditioner using dry ice and a fan, with this stuff evaporating into the room, because there's a very real chance that you will never wake up. Bottom line is, if you want to cool a place down, a place that probably doesn't have good airflow, using a gas that will rapidly induce unconsciousness and death once its concentration gets up to about 10% is just a really dumb way of doing it.
Check this out, how cool is that? The cold smoke comes out.
So for certain among his fellow YouTubers, making a baseless takedown of people's videos for a bogus copyright reason is seen as so cheap, especially if you're a commercial YouTuber picking on smaller fry. I mean, the Fine Brothers saw to that. So quick summary: if you make something original, it becomes your intellectual property, something that you can financially protect through the copyright laws. On YouTube, one of the ways that you can do that is through filing a Digital Millennium Copyright Act. That's a DMCA takedown of someone's video if they're infringing on your copyright. And if you're doing that for legitimate infringement reasons, that's fine. If, however, they are simply using it to silence criticism, to silence commentary, to stop transformative works, or something that's, say, newsworthy, that is, if they're using this DMCA takedown for what is essentially fair use work.
Now, for those who don't know, fair use is the doctrine that states excerpts of copyrighted material may, under certain circumstances, be quoted verbatim for purposes such as criticism, news reporting, teaching, and research, without the need for permission from or payment to the copyright holder. So that means if you use copyright material for, say, a review or satire or education, it's completely legal.
And because of this, DMCAs are filed under penalty of perjury, which means that filing a baseless DMCA is a criminal act. And on top of that, you are legally required to consider whether the material that you're filing a DMCA about falls under fair use.
In the case of Lens vs. Universal, Universal claimed a 29-second video of a baby dancing to a Prince song infringed copyright. Yeah, that's how desperate it's getting. Thankfully, EFF sued Universal on Lens's behalf, arguing that Universal abused the DMCA by improperly targeting a lawful fair use. A federal appeals court affirmed that copyright holders must consider whether a use of material is fair use before sending a takedown notice.
Further, abusing the DMCA is just seen as really, really cheap by your fellow YouTubers.
The system that is in place is being used by studios and now even other content creators as a scare tactic to silence criticism and stunt channels that could grow into popular media outlets but aren't because they could say something somebody doesn't like.
Who actually know the inconvenience that comes with these copyright strikes.
A strike is the most severe. Your video gets taken down from YouTube because a copyright owner sent a complete legal request asking YouTube to do so. Just one strike limits your channel, including only airing 15-minute videos and an inability to dispute content claims for 6 months. You get 3 of these and your channel is gone.
Hi, I'm Alex from I Hate Everything. 3 days after I released my review of Cool Cat Saves the Kids, a terrible, infamously bad movie, I received a suspicious copyright strike from the director of the movie himself, Derek Savage, who over the course of about a month used this unfair strike to censor and restrict my channel, and even tried to bully an apology out of me in private emails I've since made public. This clueless man, who has shown multiple times that he has about as little understanding of how the fair use law works as he is knowledgeable in competent filmmaking, was given the tools to waste my time time and threatened my livelihood purely because he didn't like my negative review of his god-awful movie. And I wasn't alone either. It turns out Mr. Savage had been on a copyright striking rampage, silencing at least 2 other creators who had a negatively slanted review of his movie. Savage's childish behavior aside, this highlights how hilariously slanted and weighted against the creator the YouTube copyright strike system is. He didn't have to show any evidence, he didn't have to prove his case or worry about any possible repercussions. He definitely would have lost in court if it had gone there, so once he failed to refute my appeal, the strike's time limit ran out and my channel was eventually restored to normal. It was a colossal waste of time and energy for everyone involved.
It brings strikes against your account. It can jeopardize your existence on YouTube. It limits what you can do, and it's a pain in the arse to fight. It necessitates that you have to sign stuff yourself under penalty of perjury and potentially expose yourself to getting sued just to fight.
I've been doing this professionally for over 8 years. And I have never had a day where I felt safe posting one of my videos, even though the law states I should be safe posting one of my videos.
Yeah, it really changes the entire feel of YouTube from somewhere where it's fun to make videos to somewhere where people can legally threaten you from anywhere. Then again, plagiarism. Could it really be that someone with almost 7 million subscribers got where they did simply by copying other people's work? Actually, copying other people's work is exactly what a genuine copyright infringement claim would look like. Now, ironically, what started all of this was the Crazy Russian Hacker had this brilliant idea of making an air conditioner using carbon dioxide. Problem is, to chill the air significantly would give you a fatal concentration of carbon dioxide. Yeah, the guy's an idiot, suggesting that people do something that is Darwin Award level stupid on YouTube, but as far as I was concerned, that would have been the end of it. Apart from the Crazy Russian Hacker decided to file a DMCA takedown against my video. This took down my original work. It gave me a strike against my account. 3 of those and your account is gone for good. Not only that, but the Crazy Russian Hacker also removed the only real information out there warning against the supreme stupidity of what the guy was suggesting. I mean, it takes a special piece to proudly show people how they can kill themselves and then abuse the copyright laws to take down the only warning out there about how dangerous this might be. Now, many people would have been bullied into silence. After all, in order to fight, you have to sign stuff under penalty of perjury and expose yourself to being sued. So for starters, I just didn't believe that he could be this stupid, especially after all the Fine Bros stuff.
The cash chute is running low.
Ooh, what will we do?
Consult the idea machine.
Why I never?
Try beating it harder.
But I know the guy was making a carbon dioxide air conditioner that could have killed him, but whatever. I still wrote to YouTube, who told me that he was the one who actually filed the takedown, and they gave me his email address. So I thought even at that, it might be just someone pretending to be a jerk in his name. So I wrote him a few emails, but I still got no reply. So I filed a counter notice, and what do you know, a couple of weeks later, I win. Video comes back up, strike's gone against my account. Now, technically, at this point, I can sue him for lost earnings, essentially a slam dunk, something that I'm half tempted to crowdsource just to make an iconic example of the guy for the Where's the Fair Use movement on YouTube.
I'm Alex from I Hate Everything, and where's the fair use?
I'm Adam from YMS or Your Movie Sucks, and I've been asking, where's the fair use?
I'm the Nostalgia Critic. Where's the fair use?
Because ultimately, the only way this sort of DMCA abuse is going to stop is if someone gets sued. And damn straight, just because you have a larger YouTube channel, that does not mean that you can abuse the DMCA to bully smaller channels. Or maybe, just maybe, if YouTube started dishing out strikes against people's accounts who abuse the DMCA system with as much zeal as they give out strikes for baseless copyright infringement. Or maybe something similar. You know, the first time they lose an appeal, they get a warning. The second time, they can't upload a video for 2 weeks. Third time, they can't upload for 6 months, and so forth. I figure that something like that would stop abuse pretty quick too. So yeah, the guy's a royal jerk, but that doesn't make him a plagiarist, right? Well, I don't know. Let's see if we can make up our own minds here. Let's compare his homemade air conditioner video released in July of 2014 with one released 2 months earlier, in May of 2014.
How to make a homemade air conditioner.
Well, today I'm gonna show you how to make an air conditioner.
So if you want to come down here, I'm going to show you all the parts.
For this experiment, we're going to need
So you're going to need a small little fan.
a fan like that,
I've got 3 little outlets.
PVC pipe,
You need a hole puncher that's going to be the same size as the...
a drill with a wood door bit at the end.
We're going to put ice inside here, and then we put the lid on with the fan. It sucks air in, blows it through the insulated interior with ice, and it comes shooting out the other side.
Today I'm gonna show you how to make an air conditioner with a little bucket like that.
It's not necessarily the prettiest thing I've ever done before, but what we're trying to do is get our circle, and then we'll cut out the inside of the circle.
First thing we're going to do is grab a marker, put the fan on top of the bucket on the lid, and mark where we want to cut it.
It's not the prettiest thing you've ever seen in your life, but it's a hole that fits. Here's our fan. It does fit nicely.
Then I can put this propeller and it will stick to it. You see what I'm saying?
We'll take her up, flip her over, put her on the hole.
But then to make sure it all stays together.
So now I got the drill all set up. Got my hole puncher on it, 2 inch, 2 inch, right? So we're ready to go. So I'm gonna start right here on this side. I'm gonna put it close to the top.
Now I need to make 3 holes on the side over here.
And here we go, number 1. Woo! And I'm gonna put number 3 right through this side right here.
Just like this, 1, 2, 3. So here we have a piece of a PVC pipe. We just need to cut it in 3 pieces, like 1.
And then all I'm gonna do is stick this in my hole. Like so.
We got our 3 pieces. What we're gonna do is duct tape these pipes into here.
And then you just take your ice and you put it inside. Can we get a shot?
Next, we just need to put dry ice in there. And this is like this piece, about $10 or so.
Turn it on. And just like that, it doesn't make any noise at all. And you can feel it already. That ice hasn't even been in there for any period of time.
So I'm gonna turn this one on. You see the smoke comes out over there? That means this is super cold air coming out from here. Oh yeah, that feels...
This is already blowing out nice cold air.
Check this out, how cool is that? The cold smoke comes out.
Whoa. You are so busted.
Yeah, the only thing he changed was using dry ice instead of water ice. Something which is only not thermodynamically pointless in the high latent heat of melting of water means that you get a comparable amount of cooling from ice as you do from dry ice. But it costs about 10 times as much.
And this is like this piece, about $10 or so.
And from a Darwin Award standpoint, it's about as sensible as proposing heating your car with your exhaust. Yeah, Crazy Russian Hacker has completely new game for Russian roulette. Only completely new game cause Crazy Russian Hacker play game with bullet solid gold. Now it may well be that it's all pure coincidence that the only video of his that I looked at was plagiarized to hell. But we know that's bullshit. Indeed, I've been toying with the idea of going through his videos and showing that they're all plagiarized as hell unless he gives me a Venom Fang X style apology for this DMCA abuse thing.
This is an apology from myself to Thunderfoot and other YouTube users. I confirm that the contents of this apology are true and accurate. I am here to express my regret for the misuse of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act to serve takedown notices in relation to a number of Thunderfoot's videos on YouTube. When I served the notices, I did not have a clear understanding of what I was doing or the potential consequences of my actions. I now understand that the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, or DMCA for short, is a U.S. copyright law. A DMCA takedown notice is filed under penalty of perjury, and filing a malicious or knowingly false claim of infringement is a criminal act in the United States.
But the sad reality is I'm a busy guy. And I figured that this video alone is going to be pretty devastating, and I've got bigger fish to fry. And yeah, in case he feels like getting DMC happy again, all that stuff about countersuing and exposing his plagiarism may become a reality very quickly. But if anyone wants an insurance policy, feel free to mirror this video and share it with all of your friends. Like the guy says.
As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, share it everywhere, and subscribe.
And for those of you who want to judge for yourself, this was the original work which he filed a copyright claim against. So the so-called crazy Russian hacker has come up with this pretty much suicidal idea for an air conditioner using dry ice and a fan.
After this, now I need to make 3 holes on the side of it. After 5 minutes of duct taping, here's another piece. I would break it into big pieces and then throw it up and down. Check this out, how cool is that? The cold smoke comes out.
Dry ice is basically solid carbon dioxide at about minus 80 degrees Celsius. Carbon dioxide is basically what you breathe out and shouldn't be confused with carbon monoxide, which is by comparison insanely poisonous. Carbon monoxide binds very strongly to your hemoglobin and stops your blood from carrying oxygen. And when it does that, that's basically curtains for you. Carbon dioxide is by comparison nowhere near as toxic. However, that's as long as you're not trying to evaporate kilograms of the stuff into a room to try to cool it down. As odd as it might sound, the breathing reflex isn't actually triggered by lack of oxygen, but the breathing is stimulated by the buildup of carbon dioxide in your blood. And therefore, an atmosphere with a lot of carbon dioxide is actually very bad for you. Maybe the most famous example of this was the Apollo 13 mission.
Okay, we've had a problem here.
The astronauts faced another problem, their own exhaled breath. The lithium hydroxide chemical to take carbon dioxide out of the air was not sufficient in the lunar module,
where the astronauts were basically being poisoned by the carbon dioxide they were breathing out into this oversized Coke can of theirs some 250,000 miles from the nearest breathable atmosphere. Strange the things you miss about Earth. Anyway, they managed to improvise a fix with some carbon dioxide filters and duct tape. Thankfully, we now actually have a very good idea of the hazards of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So, for instance, about 2% is the point where long-term exposure is going to be harmful. And that's about the level that the Apollo astronauts were getting to when they improvised their solution. Once it gets up to about 10%, you're looking at pretty much instant unconsciousness and death shortly afterwards. And it's a pretty unpleasant way to die. The numbers break down roughly like this. A cubic meter of air weighs about 1 kilogram. So roughly, to get a 10% atmosphere of carbon dioxide, you would need to evaporate 100 grams of carbon dioxide into that volume. That's only the mass of about 2 chocolate bars per cubic meter.
Here's another piece. I would break it into big pieces and then throw it up and down.
Well, let's take a fairly small room, let's say 5 meters by 5 meters by 2 meters, a total of 50 cubic meters. If you were to evaporate about 5 kilograms of dry ice into a room like that, it would be very bad for your health. Now, it's true that carbon dioxide has a peculiar taste to it, and these very high concentrations are going to be fairly uncomfortable. So, looked at like this, the largest danger is probably for people in relatively confined areas, say for instance like a camper wagon. especially if you're going to go to sleep with this stuff evaporating into the room, because there's a very real chance that you will never wake up. Bottom line is, if you want to cool a place down, a place that probably doesn't have good airflow, using a gas that will rapidly induce unconsciousness and death once its concentration gets up to about 10% is just a really dumb way of doing it.
Check this out, how cool is that? The cold smoke comes out. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. Let me know what do you think, comments below, and as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, share it everywhere.